All right, guys, welcome to Clouds and Dirt Podcast. We're your hosts, Jon and Steven ONeill, here to talk to you guys a little bit about business and just some entrepreneurship ideas. To give you some brief background on the Clouds and Dirt theme, it's going to be basically clouds and dirt. So clouds meaning plenty of business ideas are up in the clouds and either out there that maybe on Instagram they seem easier than they appear to be. But what we want to do is we also want to bring the dirt, the realistic part of business, so younger entrepreneurs or people who aren't experienced can understand the harsh realities of actually running a business and understanding that. So we had a couple things we're going to talk about today. We hope you guys enjoy. So what's pretty cool is actually the internet. Literally, so I was listening to Gary Vee talk about this. He talked about this a lot, actually, but even in our personal lives, how much the internet has changed. Not necessarily how much money you can make, but literally, physically, how you make money. Yeah. So, for example, 100 years ago, if you wanted to be in real estate, you had to be in the city you were doing business in. Yeah. Now, I've been to California one time, and now we're doing a deal in California. Right. And I was in California for Disneyland, 6 years ago. But it's pretty cool because you can put up some ads and, just on Craigslist or even Facebook. We use Facebook a lot, and now we're doing, a $450,000 deal because of social media. Yeah. So just being able to do that is just. Did we post on Twitter and Facebook? Not yet. Okay. We should do that. What was it we were just looking at today? Speaking of Craigslist, the owner of Craigslist, Craig, what's his last name? Craig Newmark? Newmark. Yeah. He's the owner of the founder of Craigslist. So get this. You think of billion-dollar companies having, thousands and thousands of employees and tons of corporate structure. How many employees did you say they have? Yes. It said he had 50 employees. And his net worth is like $1.3 billion. 1.3 billion. He has 50 employees. That's just nuts. And what was their 2017 revenue was north of $600 million. $600 million. It was like 650 million or something. And it's been pretty steady for years. It's gradually gone up, but it's a huge site. 10 years ago, 2008, he's probably making roughly the same. Yeah, maybe. People still post ads. It's a good place to post. That's if he had done average $500 million for 10 years, it's $5 billion. Yeah, I think he's definitely hitting that much. Yeah. That's quiet money. I don't even think they're publicly traded. I don't think Craigslist is publicly traded. I'm surprised no one's tried to buy them out, to be honest with you. Yeah. They're such a huge platform, like eBay is a buy and sell platform. I'm surprised eBay didn't make that move. Yeah. Well, and in Craigslist, they don't run ads, for their company? As a bit, like Facebook, they don't run ads. Oh, on their website? Yeah. No. So the only way they make money that I've seen is, if I'm an employer and I go to post a job positioning, that's like $40 for me. Some ads cost money, yeah. Yeah, and then for smaller people, like a small business or a gig, it's $6 to post that. Yeah. But for me to post for something for sale, it's free. Yeah, so $600 million on people. I would say most Craigslist ads are not job openings. No, absolutely not. It's just crazy to me. $600 million. I want to see the financial statements, but that's just. I can't imagine most of that. Most of that's got to be profit. Yeah, one office building with 50 employees. I don't think so because. The website takes a lot of. They have an algorithm. It takes a lot of regulating. Sure. I posted 15 ads one time, and 10 of them got flagged immediately. And I think that was just because of the volume. It's I'm pretty sure the algorithm is amount of ads per minute because you can. There's also if you're making an ad that doesn't fit in the guidelines of where you're posting, it gets flagged. Yeah, immediately. So if you were paying for ads, you're less likely to get flagged. There's trigger words. Yeah. There is sometimes it's pricing. You can't buy some medical equipment. Yeah, right. Like if you try to put something in a free category, but in your post it says something about money.
Yeah.
But you put it in a free category because you want people to see it. That should get. Well, like
there's those guys making. God, there's some guys making hand over fist money, buying and selling diabetic test strips.
Oh right. Yeah.
And they'll be on OfferUp, eBay, all those small phone sites, including Craigslist, and
that's such a crazy business model. Like literally,
you can have nothing in the description though, and just have the picture with captions on it, and their scanner can read those words. Yeah, and it'll pull it off.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Yeah, because I thought I was slick when I did that. Yeah, and I had a picture, Steven ONeill, joined my Home Finders program, yada yada, and they were still getting flagged, and I was putting very normal post titles on there. But it still got flagged, so I was like, wow, that's pretty unique. So I mean, I don't think it's a lot of its revenue. I feel like they probably have pretty well. I don't know. It's kind of hard to gauge because that's a lot of money. But 50 employees, it's not like you're spending millions of dollars on the employees.
Well, like we said, even if you paid all of them six figures, which doesn't happen,
right?
It's $5 million a year in just salary,
right? Assume the CEO gets $250,000, $500,000, something.
Yeah,
he's the CEO, but
you've got $600 and something million
coming in, right? So. And it's not like there's personal information on there, but it's not like credit card numbers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
At most, someone is losing, or someone is giving access to their phone number, maybe first and last name, and their email. But if you don't have to use your own email either.
Yeah.
They have the coded email, so that way you'll never have their email. So. It's not like they have to have protection on there. That way the site doesn't crash, but they're probably not spending.
Well, it's the same way that when you put your phone number on Craigslist, they tell you to put, 1-800, but you spell 8 in the word form.
Yeah.
That way you're not getting hit by bots.
Well, even now, like you said, they can scan words now, so that doesn't work anymore either.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I did that once. Next 3.5 weeks, I just got calls from India. It's terrible. It sucks so bad. The IRS, the government, Visa, they all called me.
Oh yeah.
So,
let's talk a little bit about being an actual entrepreneur as opposed to being in my opinion, these can be one and the same, but more times than not, they're different. Being an entrepreneur and then being a business owner.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So in my opinion, I think the biggest difference is, and I could be wrong, I'd love to hear other people's thoughts and ideas on this, business owner works in his business, an entrepreneur works on his business. So he's not, ideally where you want to be is you want to be the owner, not the CEO.
Right.
Whereas maybe smaller companies, you are the owner and the CEO. I mean, what was it? The owner of Uber released his title as CEO. Yeah. He let it go.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he doesn't own it anymore.
For sure.
But he's just not the CEO.
Right.
He's not running the board meetings.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about that and what it means to actually be your own boss, running your own business. That the success predicates specifically on your ability to execute. What those hours looks like.
Well, I think they're two and the same sometimes. So, for example, like Tony Robbins, I would consider him an entrepreneur. He owns several businesses. I mean, they do like $5 billion a year. But you don't look at him and think you're an entrepreneur. You just look at him and say, oh, you're just this awesome guy.
Yeah.
But then again, that's what most famous, at least, entrepreneurs are.
Yeah.
I mean, and then there's personalities, like, as much as I hate him, Ty Lopez.
Yeah.
I think he's annoying, but he's uberly successful. But I see him more as a personality.
What does he even do?
So
I don't even know what he does.
As far as I know, here's his story, and I haven't looked into it very much. This is just I'd read one blog, I believe it's about him for someone who hated him.
Oh, so. The only blog I read about him was it was funny. It was titled "The World's Most Hated Entrepreneur."
Yeah, no, for sure.
That's what I read.
Even bad press is good press.
Yeah.
So
because of his YouTube ads, they were everywhere.
They were everywhere. So from what I know,
you want to make more money.
He was super broke. He decided to start reading a bunch of books, is what he claims. He made some moves. He doesn't really talk about those moves. I don't know what they were. The only thing I saw was that he invested early, kind of like Gary. I believe in social medias.
Okay.
Blew up, made some money, and said, hey, if I could do this, other people could do it. I just got to teach them how. YouTube ads, when they were grossly underpriced.
Yeah.
I believe he read one of Gary Vee's books too, and that's when he started implementing ads on YouTube.
Well, Gary talks about it a few times. The company that bought Google AdWords when it was cheap?
His company?
Amazon.
Oh, Amazon, yeah.
I think it was 2002 to 2006.
Right.
When ads on Google it was new. It was like a new business model. Yeah. But everyone was still using it, but companies weren't using ads there. And Amazon dumped money into it, just tons of money. And if you look at the chart of Amazon's growth, that's really when they started to. They started before 2000, but that's when they started to really start increasing.
Well, they had to because they were an e-commerce store. You couldn't drive to Amazon.
Yeah.
So the only marketing they could do was online.
I guess they actually kind of fell into it then.
Yeah. So they were almost forced to do it.
It's almost lucky.
But they only did books from the beginning.
Yeah.
And they realized they might as well just do everything. And it was a user-based platform from the beginning, right?
What do you mean?
Like kind of like eBay, you could put whatever you wanted on there. Or was it him selling stuff from the beginning?
I don't know. I know that their main focus initially was I believe books.
Yeah, I knew it was books.
And it's funny because they actually started doing so well. They put Barnes and Nobles out of business.
Yeah.
But now they're actually starting to have their own Amazon bookstores come out. And from what I heard, it's going to be only new releases.
Yeah. So
it'll be like, your favorite author comes out with a book, and he's got...
Barnes and Noble stores are awesome. It sucks that they're, like, dwindling, but, the experience of walking in Barnes and Noble store is actually still pretty cool.
Oh, I love it. I mean, I feel at home, and I can look at all these books, and, like...
For sure, yeah.
If I had the time to read them all, that'd be great.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, it's pretty unique to see them because even when they acquired Whole Foods, I actually still remember that day, Walmart stock dropped, I believe it was like 4%.
Really?
In a day. All the big retailers who sold groceries, I believe it was Fry's, Safeways, Albertsons, Walmart, obviously. And then I think even like Target dropped. It was like nuts. But like all the big like top 10 retailers dropped that day. Because everyone was like, oh, they bought Whole Foods and buy Amazon stock. And then today, they rose 6%. For a company of that stature, that size, that Amazon is 6%, yeah. 1,500 to 1,600 because they passed their quarter one revenue expectations. It was supposed to be like 49 point whatever billion for quarter one.
Yeah.
And it was almost 52. So that's just here's an extra couple $1 billion
in value.
No, in revenue that they made.
No, when they increase in value, 6%.
Oh, and then they made another. Yeah, Jeff Bezos made another, however much more money from.
I mean, you got to be careful when you say that. Like if all of his stocks combined are worth $100 million, and then he doubles in value. Like if people say, "Oh, he made $100 million," and technically he did, but it's not physical cash unless he sells it and cashes out.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, but 6% for what are they valued at? Almost. Aren't they 800?
Their market cap is like 800 something billion.
Yeah.
It's right up there with
They're in the race between Apple and not Walmart, but Google. Apple and Google for the first $1 trillion.
I think Amazon's actually in last place, if I'm not mistaken.
But they're growing the quickest.
Yeah, but they've grown the quickest.
Amazon, Google, and Apple.
Yeah, something like that.
Isn't Apple already 900 million?
I don't know. I can't remember the charts.
The first $1 trillion company. Whoever hits that alone, will also boost their...
Yeah, it'll be
because of the human nature and psychology of,
I think Apple will make a play here pretty soon.
Yeah.
Whether it's an acquisition or... I mean, that seems to be how Amazon's doing it. I mean, we're streaming on Twitch. They own Twitch.
Yeah.
Smart move. Yeah. Very smart move. They acquired Whole Foods, so it looks like they're doing it through acquisitions. Like they're going to be...
Well, they're taking already successful businesses and making them more successful. Yeah. Like Walmart 5 or 6 years ago in, I believe it was Alabama, started coming out with what is now becoming mainstream with Amazon, the you put it in your basket, and you have a Walmart account, and you can just leave. It charges you automatically. There is no cashiers.
Oh, wow.
And they tested that actually in a few stores in the Midwest.
Yeah.
And it died. The world wasn't ready for it. And now Amazon's coming out with it, and just because Amazon's doing it, everyone knows them as a techie company and a trendy company, and they speak to millennials, whereas Walmart is just
cheap
a conglomerate.
Cheap goods.
Granted, they don't really connect with millennials. Amazon can say, this is the new cool thing.
Right.
And immediately, fucking millennials are just so much like, you can post an ad right now that says, this is what millennials are doing, and we'll believe it.
It's because it's what the ad says.
It's like, literally, it's like every millennial I know, including ourselves, is like, we're just born to keeping up with the Joneses. This is the game everyone's playing.
For sure.
These are the shoes everyone's buying, either the Gary Vee shoes or the Yeezys, whatever it is. This is what you buy, and as long as you're saying other people are buying it, it's a funnel.
It's really easy to herd the sheep.
Yeah,
with
and so
that.
If Amazon comes out and says, hey, this is what we're doing now, all of our shop, like suddenly it's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Walmart's already done it. It failed.
They did it, yeah.
But it failed.
Well, it's the same thing with Magic Cab was Uber. Not even closely related as far as people.
Magic Cab?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. They were just... Some people say they were too early, or they didn't market it right, or something.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't catch to the generation it was supposed to.
Yeah.
And then Uber comes along, and they do really well, and they're kind of doing well, whatever you want to look at it.
I'm convinced that
Lyft is doing really well.
The world's biggest spenders are between the ages of, in terms of money. There was actually a study done on this. I remember in my senior year of high school, there was a study done on this in 2000 and I think it was 9.
Okay.
We were all reading documents on it, and the generation that spends the most money in terms of like maybe 4 or 5 years, it was the ages of 13 to like 17, and there were kids without jobs who were spent the most money in the marketplace. You know why? Parents give them the money.
Okay. Well, so most money on average per person.
So it was like the most influential spenders, like who is spending the most money and has the least brand loyalty,
right?
And they're just buying and they're spending the most in the marketplace. Obviously, we're not talking about cars and stuff. We're talking about like just knickknacks,
goods, and
adults aren't buying the
fidget spinners.
They're not buying fidget spinners, or silly vans, right?
Oh yeah,
$100 million rubber band company.
Ridiculous.
And so they were doing the study on this, and they started realizing these companies would go to high schools and look for what they called trendsetters. Just a kid who would come out with something, and he would do it, and he would affect a few other people, and someone else would take that idea and change it a little bit and fit their group, but it was the same theme, and it would take off. Like, it never really caught fire too much at our school, but there was the kids who wore the... and I hated it. Those stupid furry tails, like that scene of kids.
And they hang out of like your bag or whatever.
Yeah. Scene of kids who wore those, that took off.
No, it really did. I know people who still have those.
Yeah,
I think they're Minx tails or something. Yeah.
And then they started getting colorful, and it didn't make sense. Or the hoodies.
And then they turned into little fur ball. Puff ball.
There's the hoodies that have like the ears on them, and that scene of kids, it took off and exploded
for sure.
And companies look for people who start those.
Or even you know what's interesting is
people under the age of 25 spend more money.
Even down to a backpack.
Yeah.
What kind of backpack would you have preferred to have from the start of high school?
Me?
Yeah.
A black JanSport.
A black JanSport. Yeah. And then
do we know why? Why?
Because that's what all the cool kids, the trendsetters, that's what they had.
Yeah.
And then halfway through high school, what happened? It had to be JanSport.
Yeah.
But it couldn't be black.
Yeah, it couldn't be black.
Checkered or white.
Yeah.
And then you colored in the
shoes,
checkers.
though. Same with shoes, though. Is junior, senior year, you wore black Vans.
Right.
And then halfway through the year, it was you didn't wear black Vans, you wore white Vans, and they had to be dirty. Like, no one cared about white.
They had to be dirty, or you had to Sharpie them.
Yeah.
You did something to them.
And that was just in our school with, 1,000 students.
It was so weird. I hated it.
And going to the mall, that's what you bought. Like, you stopped buying black Vans, you bought white Vans, and you got them dirty.
Right. And then there was always a subgroup of, Chuck Taylors or something.
Yeah.
Dickie shorts, all that stuff. The different subgroups was... But I remember, didn't matter, even race didn't matter. Everyone had a JanSport.
Yeah.
Everyone had one.
Yeah.
So...
It fit everything.
Yeah.
And then... it's just, it's funny that you bring that up with the backpacks. it's funny to me that JanSport did, in my opinion, I didn't see anything. JanSport did nothing to get us to buy it. But then you have a company like LL Bean. They make backpacks, and they have lifetime guarantees.
Right.
Okay? Better quality backpack, lifetime guarantee. You can take the old one, return it, and they'll give you a new one.
Right.
And I was a freshman, Mr. Bird, he's like, you guys should all be buying LL Bean. He's like, I don't know why you buy JanSport. They have lifetime guarantees, better quality. And
you're stupid, Mr. Bird.
I mean, at 13, 14 years old, I'm like,
let's get my parents to buy me a new one.
I was like, I don't care about lifetime
guarantees. That is
guarantees.
my lifetime warranty.
It doesn't look cool.
Yeah.
Like, as if a plain black backpack looked cool. Like,
no, yeah, for sure.
It had 2 pockets in it.
Then there's the micro trends of, you could also almost have any backpack you wanted as long as it was small and thin, because that showed you didn't have all your homework in your bag. And you didn't do your homework, you were cool. Don't do your homework. That's not cool.
The old cliche of I pass my classes and I don't do my homework has always, I feel like, existed in my experience.
Or if you just don't have all your books in your bag or whatever it is, you're not carrying, because you're not a nerd, you don't carry all your stuff around with you or whatever.
Well, I mean, it's stupid to carry those thick textbooks.
Oh, there's no reason for it.
Yeah.
We were in college. We weren't reading them every
Just
day.
have 30 of them and leave them in the classroom.
Yeah.
Why have 600 of them for every student to take home?
Yeah, because we had to go rent them out from the library, right?
Yeah.
Check them out, whatever. I think that was just to prepare us for college.
Yeah.
Which is really impractical, because even college students don't even, like, it's not like they have their books with them all day.
Yeah.
They leave them in the room. And
I mean, school is so far behind technology-wise.
Oh,
everything should be in online now. Everything I learn, everything I read is all through my phone anyway. You know why? Because it's updated. It stays updated. That book, and when we graduated, they were like 12, 13, 14 years old.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. They should be reading, like, I don't know, out of some type of, like, tablet or something like that. That'd be really hard to...
The curriculum could be so much faster.
Well, if you do have an electronic version of the book, you can immediately... Next year, you could change everything. You don't have to buy new books.
Yeah, this is also the reason why I think...
Well, I mean, you have to buy new books, but you don't have to worry about, okay, well, we have literally 400 pounds of books right here. What are we going to do with them? You just... yeah, but instead with, like, a tablet, you just delete that and just re-download it.
Sure.
There's no storage of actual hard copy books. It just goes on the tablet.
I think this is a big reason why we didn't do well with college either. Gary Vee actually came out with something that said that I agree with. He goes, the only reason why I shit on school is because school first shit on me. And I love that. Because, I mean, we did okay in class. In fact, we had A's and B's.
We were smart kids.
And we went to college and we didn't even last the semester.
Yeah, I was like, screw this. Like, this sucks.
Couldn't do it.
Well, I was like, I want to learn, like, how to, like, run a business and stuff like that. And here you are, you're having me read this story that's 600 years old.
Yeah, I was just...
And I read a paper on it.
We were firm believers in, if you want to learn basketball, you learn from Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to learn how to run a business, why would I go to school and listen to people who aren't running a business?
Right.
Like, it's almost the idea of apprenticeship is coming back.
You know what really pissed me off? So senior year of high school, we had 2 choices for math. You remember that?
Yeah.
You could choose what they said was the easy math, which was, what was that called? Oh, God, what was that called? I forget what it was. The other one was pre-calc. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Pre-calc.
Yeah.
The other one, I forget what they called it. It was something stupid. And I was like, senior year of high school, same credit. Give me the easy one.
Yeah.
So, swear to God, in this class, you know how everyone's like, I wish I learned about taxes and budgeting and all that stuff?
Mm-hmm.
We learned that. I swear to God. It was the same credit as pre-calc.
Yeah.
Except it was viewed as an easy course. So I learned how to file my taxes as a senior in high school. I learned how to file my taxes. I learned how credit cards work. I'm not kidding. I learned about balloon interest payments. Learned about how mortgage interest rates work. All of it.
Yeah.
Adults don't even understand that. I learned that all in senior high school because of this one teacher.
Well,
here's the thing. We went to Yavapai Community College, right? We went to that community college. And I gave them my transcript. I told them everything about all the questions asked. And they go, oh, if you would have taken pre-calc, you could have gotten into this math class, which was just above, whatever the first math class is. But they're like, since you didn't and you took this, we have to put you in a substandard, which means I had to take 2 extra math classes that year just to get on track for an associate's degree. And I was just like so angry because math is math. And the route I wanted to go, pre-calc didn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Wouldn't even have been on the horizon.
Yeah.
Nothing would have been on the horizon. What I learned in high school actually would have taught me more about interest rates, balloon payments, credit cards, all that stuff. Because I was like, I want to go for business and finance and entrepreneurship and all that stuff.
Well, I think those high-level maths, to even get a job in that field, you have to really understand more than anything the theory behind that math, why it is what it is, how it works.
Which I think is just...
So they don't trust you to do the calculations by hand anyway. No company does.
It's 2018. Don't do the calculations.
Yeah, you use a calculator, but you have to understand how it works.
Sure.
You have to understand like an order of operations, for example.
All that means is all that means, to me at least, is they want you to understand how to critically think.
Sure.
Which you could... That's like taught, but it's not taught.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like... I can critically think, but just because I don't do it with only strictly numbers,
right,
doesn't mean I don't critically think.
No, yeah.
It's an implied method of thinking.
No, yeah, for sure.
But it doesn't suit, like, okay, I don't understand trig.
Right. But how much are you going to owe on your mortgage in 16 years?
Yeah.
Like, as far as principal and interest and all that stuff. Like, can you figure that out?
Yeah.
Like, there's
a simple calculator to figure all that out for us now anyway.
No, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But a stupid little calculation like that, okay, take your mortgage times 12 times 16.
What's silly to me is, 7 out of 10 jobs is sales related. Okay, so you go to school for all this stuff to get prepped for the real world, right? And all businesses exist to make a profit.
Right.
Profit is...
directly related to the
all
value
profit
you bring.
is... Well, all revenue is made through sales. I can't think of any revenue that's made outside of a sale. It has to be a sale somewhere.
Yeah, it's got to be a financial transaction.
7 out of 10 jobs are direct sales, and the other 3 are a few positions away from direct sales. So we're talking CEOs, receptionists, or a few people away from being a direct salesman.
Well, right? Even in, let's just say, accounting. You're an accountant at an accountant firm, right? And all you do is just crunch numbers all day. You still have to know the psychology of selling at some point in your life because it's good for you. You have to be able to sell an idea.
And that's the thing is you go to school, you do all this stuff, and we have millions and millions of kids graduating every year. And if 70% of the jobs are in sales, never have we learned any sales skills.
No.
Ever.
Not in high school.
And it's 70% of them are somehow... I mean, even if you go into like HVAC, there's salesmen who sell HVAC systems.
Yeah,
they have to be an engineer, granted, to understand what they're talking about.
Yeah, when you tell someone their AC is broken and, hey, it's $4,500, you turn into a salesman.
Yeah.
Because no one wants to pay that.
So you just start asking, here's another method of a good sales technique is yes-no-oriented questions.
Oh, for sure.
Would you like to burn up this summer? No.
Yeah.
You're asking the question, they go no, but they don't know the answer, and you're providing a solution.
Well, what's really cool about that is you can even throw out what you know that's going to come. Do you want to pay $4,500 for this unit right now? No, of course not. Okay, cool. That's why we're going to set you on a monthly plan. You're going to finance it for $200 a month.
Yeah, and you're going to pay $5,000 for it though.
Yeah, and you're going to pay $5,000 for it, but
interest.
You're still going to have money for Christmas.
Yeah.
You don't have to drain your savings. Stuff like that. Yeah, like asking those no-oriented questions because it's safe.
Yeah.
It makes the person feel like they're not committing. To anything.
So one of the other things that school, didn't really ever prepare us for was because right after we got out of college, we became an entrepreneur, and that was a leap for us because we had to learn how to start scheduling our own hours and quite literally being our own boss.
Right.
So, and we started out working full time, but if we weren't working at our job, we were working on our business, and if we weren't working on our business, we were eating or sleeping.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing is I don't think people understand the time, just alone, the time it takes.
Well, yeah, because I think back to it, like, what were all of our friends doing? Like, and they all had jobs.
Yeah.
Well, most of them. And what did they do with their money? Like, and I just think back to that. If we weren't investing back into ourselves, whether it be a good book, we went to a couple seminars back then, which was pretty cool. Or actually physically back into our business, we would have had so much money to go spend on, a fucking concert or whatever they were doing. And I think that really started to split us from us and our friends
from high school.
That we just weren't naturally compatible with. The only reason we were friends is because we spent 8 hours a day on the same campus.
Yeah. We spent 40 hours a week together.
Right.
The CEO of that insurance company said that insurance isn't taught, it's caught. And you know how in the beginning we always talked about being an entrepreneur, we were bit?
Right.
Like the idea behind it is like catching a vampire disease. We were bit, and we were after that we were just never the same. And we always joked about it with people. We were like, "Oh, you're gonna get bit, and once you get bit, you can't go back to a normal job."
It's just a different. Yeah, it's just
it truly is caught. You can't teach entrepreneurism. Yeah. You get caught into it.
Yeah,
and then once I feel like the wool was moved from my eyes. Once I saw the world in this way, this perspective, I could never go back.
Yeah.
It was like denying a truth that I knew to be real.
Yeah, because it gave us... I think it gave us a path that we were always kind of curious about, but never really understood how people did it. Mm-hmm. And once we started seeing people our age even start doing what we wanted to do, we were just like, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if you can do it, I could do it type of attitude.
Yeah.
Which was really actually kind of like critical for us because I had no initial belief.
Yeah.
I just kind of like threw myself into it. I was like, okay, like, let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so it was really neat. But what's funny is watching ourselves grow. Like, we knew nothing about branding, nothing about marketing, nothing about even solid business principles.
How many times over the course of, since we were 18, we're 22 now, over the course of 4 years, how many times have we said, I don't know how people are poor. I don't, there's so much opportunity out there. And like we started the podcast with the internet.
Right.
Brad Alcazan said, the ways to make money are changing, and if you don't change with them, you're going to get left behind.
For sure.
There's just been times where we've had ideas that clicked, and we're like, I don't know how anyone is poor.
Right, yeah.
It's actually a choice. You'd have to choose to live in poverty.
Right, yeah.
You know, like Dalton, for example, overnight he can go and bust his butt and have a 6-figure landscaping business.
Yeah, and he did. Yeah.
Or the guy in California who only cuts grass, no other landscaping, only cuts grass, makes $3 million a year.
Yeah, he's got like 10 guys
cutting grass. That's it.
His company operates 7 days a week. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
That reminds me. Bring up the. So we had an idea with a nail salon. Nothing that we would ever be interested in doing.
Right.
But you had an idea for a nail salon business that could just, to be frank, shit on its competition.
Right. Yeah. It was. So for some reason I was thinking about a conversation because like 3 years ago I was dating this girl. Her name was Adina, and for some reason, she hates her job. She still works there. She hates her job. So I was talking to her about, what do you want to do? Because I had just recently quit my job to pursue real estate and another business we were doing at the time. And so I was asking her, what is something you want to do? And she's like, I wouldn't mind getting into cosmetology, I believe it is, where you just do nails. I think it's cosmetology.
Yeah.
And so I just told her the reality of, okay, well, go find a wholesaler. Go call the company and tell them you're starting a nail salon. They don't care. They want to sell nails.
Yeah.
Plastic nails.
Yeah.
Buy $500 or $600 worth of it. That way you can get the wholesale price.
Yeah.
You're gotta come out of pocket.
Bulk you buy, and the better your price.
It's gonna be good anyways. Yeah. So that's how you get all your supplies. I was like, and then tell all your friends that you're gonna do their nails for half the price of whatever they're doing right now, just so you can move your own product, but you get experience. Yeah. And I told her, I was like, this is how you're gonna get good.
Mm-hmm.
All your family, all your friends, all of it. Once you start getting to a place where you're actually really good with it, I told her, you could then start charging people for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was trying to think of a business idea for that, like just the other week.
Yeah.
Because I was like, someone could literally do that and scale it up and actually have a real business.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, so what's a way they could actually be competitive?
Instead of every other nail shop.
Instead of every other nail shop.
What's different?
Yeah. And so I was like,
it'd have to be more, because people think their name alone on a nail shop is going to be what makes them different.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. And so initially I was just like, okay, well, you just have to give more. And I love Walmart's business approach. Volume beats everything.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah.
Volume beats everything. And so I was like, and I have no idea what the numbers are. This is where I'll just, I think this is what it costs to get your nails done. But I was like, if you could, like, for say, like, how often does someone get their nails done who is a real customer?
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's like once a month. It's got to be like once a
month.
month.
No, I think you have to get your nails done. Otherwise, they kind of just, because your nail grows underneath them.
Right.
Once a week or once every 2 weeks if you can hold out that long. Because then they start falling off. And so it's almost like weekly if you want to keep them nice.
Right. Okay. So, that's right. Actually, that does make sense because that kind of fell in line with what I came up with.
Yeah.
So what I did was, she lives in Prescott Valley, where we used to live. So all I did was, and I remember, whatever you're selling, 3% of your population that you're selling to. So if you're only selling to something that's for women, you just take 3% of the population. So 3% of all women in Prescott Valley or the surrounding areas, just Prescott Valley, was 630 women. That's it.
Yeah.
So that's the current population of women who are currently looking for a nail salon.
Just in Prescott Valley.
Yeah, just in Prescott Valley.
Not Dewey, Prescott.
To be quite honest, it's probably more than that.
It said, well, there's 100,000-ish people in the Tri-City.
Yeah. Right.
So you could realistically say up to 3,000. But we'll just stick with Prescott Valley. Yeah, say 600.
And so I was like, okay, if you did 630 women at $30 a month, so it's now subscription-based, that's $18,900 a month.
So, and nails normally cost anywhere from $30 to, I've seen nail salons charge as much as $65 for nails.
Right.
Depends on what you get on them.
Right. And so the business side of it was out of $18,000, we'll call it $19,000. Assume 30% is going to go to cost, no less, right? Not including your labor. And then I don't know how long it takes to do someone's nails.
Yeah.
But in a month, it was like 630 women. You could actually do them all in a month if you're only working 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
So 40 times 4 weeks is 120. You did 630 divided by 120. You could spend 5 hours on each client, which you won't, but you could spend 5 hours on each client and hit every single client one time a month, right?
Wait, really?
Yes.
You're seeing 600 people in a month?
Yeah. 630 people in a month, so I was like, okay, well, if you have that much time, that means you could see everyone three times a month. Yes.
You're working 40 hours a week.
You could see everyone 3 times a month.
4, 8, 12, 16. That's 160 hours. You have 600 and some people
I did 120.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 3.9 hours, so 4 hours still. You have 4 hours with each client, yeah. Which it does not take that long to do 10 nails. It just doesn't.
No, that I think you're backwards on the numbers. You have 690 people. Let's say it takes about an hour. I think it's like 45 minutes to an hour. That's 690 hours a month, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that you'd have to spend. So you'd have to hire. You couldn't do.
Oh yeah, duh.
You could do 160 people a month by yourself if you were doing hour back to back to back to back.
Right.
If you got fast and it was maybe 45 minutes.
Right.
And that was if you're working 8 hours a day, no lunch breaks.
Well, of course you have lunch breaks.
Sure, but you'd have to hire out.
Yeah.
Realistically, you need 3 or 4 employees, which every nail salon has that.
Right. So the idea behind it was to win in volume.
Mm-hmm.
So out of the 18 or so thousand, that's cash flow.
It's almost 19,000.
You see them twice a month, but you only charge them the one time at $30.
Yeah.
30 or $50 or whatever it is.
So you're saying instead of your profit margin being $20, you drop it to 10, but now you're seeing them every month for 6 months straight, and instead of them going from this nail salon to that nail salon next month.
Because they got a coupon for there.
Because you're creating brand loyalty.
Right. Well then, and then the other thing is, if you see someone twice a week for 6 months straight, you're going to have a better connection with them than the customer you see every other month or whatever.
And now your income is stable.
Yeah, and then you stabilize your income and stuff like that. So it was just really neat to think you could do a subscription type model with a nail salon.
Well, the thing about it is that you're moving $20,000 worth of product.
Yeah.
You call your manufacturer and go, hey, I need better price from swapping.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now you're cutting them down. I'm moving $250,000 worth of product a month.
Right. A year.
You know? A year. That's huge.
Right.
Any one nail salon to be able to do that is massive.
Yeah, and then you could even do something like, okay, for, you know, I think the number I came out with is you could do something like you could change your nails once a week if you wanted to, or you could come in and get them fixed, and that counts as a visit. You get 4 visits, right, once a week.
Yeah.
For the $30 a month.
Yeah.
Whether you want a complete change out or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, but that's all like, I don't know how nails work, but that's basic nails, right? So just the colors and slap them on there. Premium members are $50 a month, and you get 6 visits, but you can also put the little jewels on there and make it acrylic and all that shit.
Yeah.
And so I was like, then you start having raffles.
You could also do something where it's like, you know, I pay the $30, and then let's say mid-month I want to upgrade just for the following, you know, you prorate it and be like, all right, so it's $5 extra a week.
Yeah.
For this week if you want jewels on your nails.
Yeah. Well, what's really neat about that is because I like collaboration with other businesses.
Yeah.
So let's say you have like 100 premium members at $50 a month. You email all your premium members, or even text them, whatever you want to do, and tell them, hey, we're putting all the premium members into a drawing. If you win, you get 50% off at this hair salon because you only do nails.
Yeah.
And you tell them to do the same thing. Hey, all your customers who do X, Y, and Z, give them 50% off. It's on us.
Yeah.
You know. Now both of your premium members, if they're doing the same thing you're doing, now both your premium members are getting secondary exposure to something they're already used to.
Yeah.
Oh, this hair salon does $50 a month for my hair or whatever. Like, I don't think it'll work at Wonder, but whatever. And so it's just a really neat way to get secondary exposure and create brand loyalty and stuff like that. And it's like my favorite business model because it creates stable income for a new company.
Yeah.
And it makes you hustle, in my opinion.
It's different because if there's one thing I know about in the nail salon industry, I don't know much, is it's tried and true, and nothing about it has changed.
Right.
Like, for example, if somehow you could apply this to pizza, it's the world's, I think it's the 3rd most eaten food on the in America. I think in America, it's the most competitive space to break into.
Right.
And if you, like me, I don't have any brand loyalty to pizza. I'll eat it anywhere. It doesn't really matter.
Right.
But then you have all these chains, Little Caesars and Pizza Hut and Domino's, and they have plenty of brand loyalty. But even within that, people will switch to whatever's convenient and cheap and fast and whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So this week we ordered pizza from Sardello's and Davino.
Yeah.
And I hated both of them.
Right.
But if there was one that was good, and they're like, hey, instead of you paying a premium for us to know that you're going to buy from us once a week, you know, you're saving 15%.
Right. Well, that's how Little Caesars is able to have $5 pizza.
Yeah.
Because they win on volume.
Yeah.
They do billions of dollars in sales.
Yeah. In fact, last year they did just over $3 billion.
Yeah. For
I
pizza.
think it was, maybe not 2017. I don't know.
Pizza, breadsticks, and their wings aren't huge sellers.
But it was on there. It was the number they gave me was on their site. So they opened up a franchise. They did $3 billion in sales. And the average person who owns like a Domino's or a Pizza Hut, they clear $1 million a year. But the average Little Caesars only makes about $250,000. But there's 4,500 Little Caesars locations.
Right.
You can stack them on top of each other.
Right.
They'll sell.
For sure.
Yeah, they're like Subway.
That's the thing is like you could clear $1 million, but if your profit margins suck because everything else is more expensive, like think about like how complex like other pizza chains supplies are in food and menu and all that stuff. It's expensive to have a big menu.
Yeah.
It's expensive. That's why the first thing when restaurant savers come in is they cut the menu right in half. Get rid of anything you don't need.
Yeah.
Little Caesar sells like 4 things. And if they don't sell it, if it's something else, it's just a variation of stuff they already have.
Yeah. Like so Taco Bell.
So it's exactly.
Everything on Taco Bell is the same thing in a different shape.
Yeah, you could have a huge menu because it takes 4 seconds to grab that tortilla instead of this tortilla.
Yeah.
So, and it's all the same cheese, all the same beans, and all the same meat. Lettuce is lettuce and tomatoes are tomatoes.
Yeah. But
it's hard to have chicken, a hamburger, pasta. It's hard to have those.
Could be a buffet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like Domino's. They're not Domino's Pizza anymore. They're just Domino's. Did you notice that? Yeah, they're not Domino's Pizza anymore.
Wow.
It's just Domino's.
Because now they sell pasta. And
they sell all of it, yeah.
Huh. Actually, never noticed that.
So the profit margins on, we grossed $1 million versus Little Caesars, we grossed $250,000.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think this is true, but if it was like, okay, well we netted 20%, so that's what, 50 grand,
mm-hmm.
and then Papa John's or whatever, then they grossed $1 million, and they're like, we netted 10%, they made 100,000. Who made more? Well, Papa John's did, but when the day comes where Little Caesars does 100 or $1 million,
yeah,
and they keep their 20% margins, they're now at 200,000.
Yeah,
like it's just ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's just like, and I think that's really scalable. I think their business model is more scalable. I think other pizza chains might have to change up their stuff, or Little Caesars might have to change up their stuff. I don't even know.
Yeah,
because minimum wage is going up now, and everything's going up, so their prices have then also had to go up.
Yeah, it's true. And the price of, frozen pizzas can stay the same, as long as because like if you can manufacture in a state where the minimum wage is $8,
right,
and still sell in a state where minimum wage is $10 and keep the price of your pizza at $2.99. Whereas Little Caesars locally has to increase the price of their $5 to $6. Suddenly, I'm now buying my pizza at Walmart.
Well, I don't think manufacturing is the problem, because you have to think about the Walmart in Arizona. They still get minimum wage, or the Albertsons or Fry's in Arizona. They still have to pay their guys minimum wage.
Yeah.
So they're going to tell you as a manufacturer, hey, either lower your prices for us because we have to pay minimum wage now, or we're going to switch to whatever brand.
Yeah.
If it came down to it, I'm sure. Yeah. But they have to fluctuate still with the prices. Or the truck driver who lives in Arizona who brings all the stuff.
But I mean, Walmart could increase it 20 cents.
For sure.
And win in volume.
Yeah.
Little Caesars, the one I worked at when I was in high school, sold I'd say average 1,000 pizzas a week.
Yeah.
Maybe more. Sometimes 1,500. Well, Walmart probably sells that in 3 or 4 days, if I'm being honest.
As a company?
No, in the same town.
Oh, the same
Prescott Valley.
Gotcha. No, that would make sense.
They have 300 brands of pizza.
I've literally never seen their parking lot without 60 cars.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Even after midnight.
We're about to hit the 50-minute mark, so we'll probably wrap it up.
Yeah, sounds good.
We appreciate everyone for stopping by and listening. This was episode 1, so bear with us on any of the mishaps that we might have had. So we'll see you guys next time. We'll be uploading this to Facebook and YouTube, and we'll be getting the rest of our social media accounts up and running here pretty soon. We appreciate everything, all the support from you guys, and we'll see you next time.